Welcome to the deep dive. Today, you and I are taking a look at Ann Hooper's Pocket Sex Guide.
That's right.
We've got some, well, pretty useful bits focusing on male and female sex organs, kind of understand the map, and then we'll get practical, how to use a condom the right way.
Yeah, the goal is really just to pull out the key info, make it clear, maybe offer a few surprises too.
Exactly. We're digging in, not just reading. We want to get to what the guide says is essential for understanding your body, your sexual health.
So we'll start with the anatomy, male and female, as Hooper lays it out. Then the very practical steps for condoms, crucial stuff.
Okay, let's unpack it. Starting with the male side. The guide points out the visible stuff first.
Yeah.
That's the penis and scrotum.
Right. The scrotum holding the testes and the epididymides.
But, like you'd guess, there's more going on inside.
Yeah.
You've got the prostate gland, the vas deferens, seminal vesicles, all playing a part.
For sure. And the guide starts with the penis, calls it the main organ for, well, sexual intercourse.
Makes sense.
And it gives an average length, which is interesting. When erect, it says about 3¼ inches or 9.5 centimeters.
And how does that happen? The erection.
Simple mechanics, really. Internal blood vessels filling up. That's what the guide explains.
Got it. And then sensitivity. That's obviously huge, right? The guide mentions the head.
Yeah, the glands. Packed with nerve endings, apparently. Very sensitive.
And also the frenulum, that bit underneath.
Gets a special mention, too, for sensitivity. So yeah, for listeners, these are sort of key zones for sensation.
Really important points for sexual experience.
Absolutely. These spots have tons of nerves. Then the guide moves to the scrotum, that external pouch protecting the testes.
Right.
And there's this interesting bit about a muscle layer there. It tightens and loosens to, like, move the testes closer or further away.
For temperature control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keeping them at the right temperature, which is vital for sperm.
Makes sense. So inside the scrotum, you've got the testes. Two oval things.
That's them. Their job, making sperm and testosterone.
And what about the epididymides? They're mentioned too.
Right, just briefly. The guide says that's where sperm are produced and stored, kind of their first stop.
Okay. Moving inside the body now. Seminal vesicles.
Yeah, 2 glands. What's important here is they make the seminal fluid, that sticky stuff that's a big part of, the ejaculate.
So they provide some key ingredients.
Right.
And then the vas deferens.
Those are the tubes, like little highways for the sperm, carrying them from the epididymides up towards the urethra just before ejaculation.
The transport system. Gotcha.
And finally, the prostate gland. The guide calls it a fibrous organ. It's where the ducts from the seminal vesicles meet the urethra.
Okay.
But here's something really interesting in there. The guide points out manual stimulation of the prostate can lead to, and this is a quote, exquisite orgasms.
Wow. Okay. That's a pretty direct information. Good to know.
Definitely.
The guide also talks about circumcision, removing the foreskin surgically. And it makes a point that being circumcised or not doesn't really consistently change how well someone controls ejaculation or how sensitive things are.
Yeah, that's a really interesting clarification, isn't it? It sort of goes against maybe some common ideas people have.
It does. It suggests those things aren't reliably linked to circumcision, at least according to this guide.
Right. So, okay, that's a decent overview of the male anatomy from Hooper's perspective. Shall we switch over to the female side?
Absolutely. Let's do it. So for female sex organs, the guide kicks off with the vulva, says it's the most accessible part.
Makes sense.
And that includes the clitoris, the labia minora, those are the inner lips, the labia majora, the outer lips, and the vaginal opening.
And right away, it stresses something really important. Variation. Everyone's different in terms of how it looks and sensitivity levels, huge range of normal.
That's such a key point. Yeah, no single right way for things to be.
Exactly. Then it zeroes in on the clitoris, calls it the most erotically sensitive spot, just packed with nerve endings.
And it says something pretty strong about orgasms.
Yeah, it does. It states pretty clearly that for most women, direct clitoral stimulation is usually necessary to achieve orgasm.
That really highlights its importance, doesn't it? Challenges the idea that intercourse alone is always enough.
Absolutely. It underscores needing to understand female anatomy for pleasure.
And physically, what happens during arousal? The guide mentions changes.
Yeah, it says it's about 1 inch long, usually kind of bends back. But with excitement, it can double in size, become erect, like the penis in a way.
Interesting comparison. Understanding those changes seems helpful.
For both partners, yeah. Then you have the labia minora, the inner lips. The guy points out they produce sebum, help to lubricate the vagina during arousal.
Ah, part of the body's natural prep work.
And the labia majora, the outer lips, they have sebaceous glands like skin elsewhere, but also apocrine glands.
Apocrine glands, what do they do?
According to the guide, they produce a sexually attractive odor. So, bringing in the sense of smell.
Huh. Interesting angle. Okay, moving inside the vagina.
Described as a fibromuscular tube. Average length, about 3.5 inches, maybe 8 centimeters. But the key thing is its stretchiness.
Right, it expands a lot during sexual excitement.
A whole lot. And it lubricates, too, with the sort of milky fluid. Plus, the walls can contract, grip the penis during intercourse. It's active.
Much more active than maybe some people think.
Definitely. Then the guide also mentions the pubic bone's role. During intercourse, it presses down onto the clitoris, adding to that crucial stimulation.
So it all works together. Anatomy creating sensation.
Precisely. Then there's the urethra, just briefly. That short tube, 1.5 inches maybe, for urine, located right in front of the vagina.
Okay, separate functions. And the cervix.
The guide calls it the head of the vagina. It projects into the top of the vaginal canal, creating these little pockets around it, the fornices.
A basic roadmap.
And lastly, the vaginal lining itself.
Yeah.
Thick, with prominent folds running horizontally and vertically.
Okay. Wow, that's quite a detailed tour of the basics for both male and female anatomy from the guide.
Yeah, covers the key structures.
So now let's switch gears. Something super practical. Using a condom correctly.
Yeah.
Vital for safer sex.
Absolutely essential. The guide starts right off emphasizing that condoms, used right every time, are effective, both for contraception and preventing STIs.
Crucial health info.
Yeah.
And it tackles that passion killer idea, doesn't it?
It does. Says while some see it that way, applying it skillfully can actually enhance sensation. It's about mindset and technique.
A different perspective for sure.
Yeah.
And it really hammers home the basics, like checking the date.
Oh, yeah. Always check the expiration date. And make sure the foil packet is totally sealed, no tears or holes before you even open it.
Got to ensure it hasn't been damaged. Makes sense.
You don't want any surprises later. It also mentions those, the novelty condoms, ribbed, flavored, different shapes. But it's very clear those features are extras. They don't replace the main job of preventing pregnancy and STIs. Sensation, not protection for the fancy bits.
Right. The barrier is the key function. Okay, let's get into the actual steps the guide provides. Step 1.
Make sure your partner has a full erection before you open the condom. The guide even suggests sensuous genital massage to help with that.
Okay. Then open the foil carefully. Watch out for fingernails, rings, anything sharp that could nick the condom.
Super important. A tiny tear makes it useless. Okay, next step. Place the unrolled condom on the very tip of the penis.
And there's that bit about pinching the tip, right?
Yes. Use your thumb and forefinger, squeeze the air out of the reservoir tip. This is really key to stop it splitting during sex.
That trapped air is a weak spot. Got it. Step 3.
Hold the base of the penis firmly with one hand. With the other, unroll a condom all the way down the shaft to the base.
And a specific note for uncircumcised guys.
Yeah, gently pull back the foreskin before rolling the condom down. Ensures it fits properly, stays put.
Good tip. Okay, last step. After ejaculation.
Withdraw while the penis is still erect. And this is critical. Hold the condom rim firmly against the base of the penis as you pull out.
Why is that so important?
To prevent semen from spilling out, you need to keep everything contained. Then, obviously, dispose of the used condom safely. Tie it off, wrap it in tissue, put it in the bin.
Right, so really clear step-by-step instructions there.
Very straightforward, but every step matters for it to be effective.
Okay, so just to quickly recap then, we've explored the basic anatomy, male and female, as laid out in Ann Hooper's guide.
The foundational knowledge.
And walked through those really essential steps for using a condom correctly.
Giving you that common understanding of the body and, well, practical advice for safer sex.
So thinking about all this, the detailed anatomy, the clear condom instructions, it kind of makes you think, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, what else is out there? What other parts of sexual health or pleasure could build on this? It feels like this is the groundwork,
That's a great point. It really is just the foundation. Things like communication between partners, different kinds of intimacy, the whole emotional side of sex.
Yeah, the psychological aspects too.
Exactly. Those are all vital for a truly well-rounded understanding that goes beyond just the mechanics and the safety basics. This guide gives you the building blocks.